This is Shane Murphy, and you're watching Jake Out Loud. Subscribe. Lots of good stuff. Cheers.
I wanted to ask you about the bar scene, and I thought about this the other day. But we're gonna have timelines here.
Okay.
Frank over here, our producer,
Yep.
he had a band in the 80s, started in the late 70s. Frank, he had a rock band, heavy rock band in the 80s. Played the bar scene downtown. I moved to Montreal. Because 1980, it's gone a few years. I came back in early 80s and lived right downtown, like you said, up the street from.
Where'd you live?
Right on Tower Street.
No, before you moved downtown. Where did you live?
I'm from Sherbrooke.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
The bustling metropolis of Sherbrooke.
Lennoxville, Bishops, the Golden Lion Pub.
Golden Lion Pub, legendary.
Yeah. I grew up there. Every time I go down, I got to go up and beer there. I know the boys, the Steve Groves band down there. You know Steve?
I do not, but
good blues player. Cool. He's a good blues player. Anyways, so when I moved here and I was living downtown, then eventually there we'd go to Station 10. As you mentioned, we're talking mid 80s here. Then I'd walk down the street to the Cock and Bull and watch Bowser and Blue. No, they were just starting out.
Okay.
And when April Wine broke up, there's Brian Greenway and John McGale playing at Deja Vu.
Buzz Band?
Yeah, in the Buzz Band. So what I'm saying is, back then, we'd walk out of our apartment and I could walk almost a blurry street and go to any number of bars and see a live rock band, blues band, folk band, you name it. Today,
no.
What do you got? The Brutopia, you play there once in a while. Maybe Hurley's might have a band or something like that. What happened to the scene? Did it change in the 90s? Someone said it's the DJs that came in and playing all the dance music on there. Other people say, oh, there's sports screens everywhere. What happened?
I mean, I don't think there's no easy answers,
Theory?
and there's no.
It's not right or wrong or good or
well, I mean,
bad.
if you're a musician, it's not good. But it's.
But I see them.
Hurley's has music 7 nights a week.
Okay.
Downstairs.
Right.
And upstairs they have it every weekend.
Right.
So they're carrying
Their
the torch for
thank God we have that.
Brutopia 7 nights a week. Old Dublin, McKibben's has music 5 or 6 nights. Yeah, 5 or 6 nights a week, and so there is a definite Irish pub scene.
Is it? What are they? Are they cover bands, Irish bands?
It's mostly covers. You're doing, and it's how much you want to curate your set list to the crowd. So if you want to go over, so I don't really go over that well
because you play a lot of your own stuff.
Play a lot of my own stuff, and I play covers that. I mean, every once in a while, if I'm emotionally drained, and I'll do the old. Or the old and it's like the crack cocaine for your ears. Like, doesn't matter where I am.
You play those.
You play them, and you got
the crack.
It's a nostalgia thing. What happened to the bar scene? I lived in Toronto for 2 years.
Okay.
Very tough.
Is it not similar than it is here?
It's just but I've heard things about Nashville about guys playing and they're not getting paid, they're just passing the hat. So if you're talking about the number of locations,
everything
culture, I mean, we sound like people who are, at the turn of the century when we went from like horse and wagon to cars, you goddamn kids with your automobiles, bring back the horses. It's just I think the birth of the cell phone, or the smartphone rather, has changed the landscape of ours. Because people are engaged in their social media, they're engaged in Tinder, Instagram, Facebook in real time, live, while they're sitting there. So they have the whole world at their fingertips. So now you're sitting up there with your buddies, working on these pieces of music that you took X amount of time to get in your fingers and all that stuff. But they have anything they want. You want to see elephants in the Serengeti. You whatever. I'm saying this is a very random thing. So now you're trying to like hey,
compete with that,
and I think hip hop becoming, and I'm a fan of hip hop, but hip hop has changed in the way people digest music. I'm not saying that correctly. Hip hop is very rhythm driven.
Yeah.
You know,
beat driven,
digital drums.
Yeah.
You know, 808s, things that pump the speakers in a way that it makes your body react. So that when you listen now, you got to listen to an acoustic drum set. It's not moving you the same way.
Yeah.
You're attuned to that. You know, I would say it's like if you're listening to Ringo Starr's bass drum when you're listening to 1964, and all of a sudden you listen to When the Levee Breaks. It's the same thing. You know, you're like, once you hear John Bonham, and I'm not saying John Bonham is a better drummer than Ringo Starr, arguably, technically more proficient. Who's influenced more drummers? Hard to say. But what I'm saying sonically, if you're listening to, you know, Please Please Me, or I Want to Hold Your Hand, and then you listen to When the Levee Breaks, in a sound system in a bar, it's gonna have a different, you know, and you're into the sauce.
And again,
it's more of a more visceral thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, with the birth of the 808, Roland 808, which is all the trap stuff, all like 90% of the hip hop stuff that's produced, when you hear that subsonic thing that's pumping, you know what I mean? And because hip hop is the biggest genre
right now, it's huge.
Well, it has been for, you know,
quite a few years.
Yeah, 15 years. I mean, it's hip hop.
Yeah.
If you go on, you know, the Billboard top, you know, 100, whatever, and you go through what's hip hop and R&B, it's rock bands or, you know, rock and roll bands. It's changed. Now, whether it's going to come back or not, now how that translates to the Montreal bar scene, economics, you know, if you're a bar owner, who do you want coming in? You know, at the end of the day, you got to make your money. You're gonna pay a DJ, or $200. You're gonna pay a band. You know, they would tell me stories of Bishop Street. They'd book. You know, you get booked from Sunday to Wednesday, and then you move over, and you're playing Thursday to Saturday. Unfortunately, it's just changed. You know, so it's just you adapt or die. I'm lucky. I play. You know.
Well, you see, another one of the reasons to bring it up is like, well, it's difficult for young bands. For number one, like a buddy of mine. A number of years ago says, well, your son's got a band, he go get a bar gig 4 or 5 nights a week. And I said, where? I said, have you been downtown? You know, and he doesn't play cover tunes. His band is like you. They play their own songs. They'll throw a couple covers in there to get the audience.
I'll play just.
But now it's paid for these guys. It's pay to play. They get 4 bands together. They get a bar on St. Denis Street. And get their girlfriend.
You know, I just to be clear, I will play nights where I don't play not even one of my songs.
Yeah.
But for me, like I said, I made that choice where I'll do nights where I play my own music.
Yeah.
Half, 0, and it all depends on the crowd. And at the end of the day, I'm making a living making music. And I say,
what it is.
Well, I mean, like I said, I you know, like, I mean, I've done a lot of slutty stuff on stage, but I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, we're talking music here.
But yeah, so. Hey, this is Shane Murphy, and you're watching Jake Out Loud. But you know, you just gotta adapt or die, and it's just the way it is, you know.
Yeah, no kidding. So
it's sad for people who like live music.
Well, yeah.
Who love bands.
Well, yeah.
But it's just things are morphing, you know.
Well,
and I say
they are morphing. That's why
social media, the smartphone apps. Yeah. It's people's brains. Sports bars. People's brains are not wired the same.
No.
You know, the way the brain. And I'm sure there's a bunch of studies, and I'm not a scientist by any means, but the way people react to stuff. You know, I'm not a millennial.
No. And
I get up in the morning, and I smoke a butt, have a coffee.
Yeah.
And I go to Instagram, and I'm like, you know, I work at night, so I have my days off. So Instagram, Facebook, I look up, and the hour's burnt.
Yeah.
And I'll go on this like Facebook, and a lot of stuff that I can, you know, use because of what you click on, they'll give you more of. So I'm clicking on, you know, Skip James, you know. So I'll catch that. And then the next video pops up, and then the next video pops up, and I'm drinking coffee, and I'm smoking butts, and an hour's gone. Like, people's brains are not, it's not the same. So you imagine you're a kid that you grew up with computers, right?
Yeah.
I get on a computer, it's embarrassing. Like, send a file, copy a file, like, I'm, like, Neanderthal.
Okay.
These kids, you know, you're 27, 28, 29, you're like, since you're 9 years old. So now you got the phone, like, you're not even thinking of it, you know?
Yeah.
They're like, they're half robots. And I don't mean that in a bad way.
No, but they're
nothing
attached
against the robots.
They're attached to it.
But it's just
more
changed.
ways than one.
It's just changed.
Yeah.
You know, just you're posting this online. Yeah. We're using all, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
All the trappings of the year 2020.
Yeah, and one of the other reasons I'm asking this because I went and videotaped my son's band because there were 4 bands playing that night and they're doing what they can. It's. Am I wrong? Is it more of a struggle for them starting a band, recording their own? They recorded right here, right where we're sitting. The whole drum kit was right here and everything else. Encourage them to do everything, and they do what they can to get the crowds there to see what they're doing and play their music. And they put it on Spotify, and they go to work the next day. You know, it's hard for them. You know, but where do they go?
I don't know what to tell. I mean,
it's a comment more than anything.
Yeah. It's just really not a. It's not an easy. It's you know, like comedy.
Yeah.
Like music. It's not.
Well, comedy, I know.
You know, in sports, you know, you either can, you know, score the points or stop people from scoring the points.
Yeah.
And it's more I'm not saying there's not politics in sports. But music is completely subjective, right? You're like, I don't really know if you're feeling that in the blue. So I need more orange. You know, that there's a whole bunch of like bullshit that's involved, and you just got to figure out what reasons are you in it for. So, is it hard to play to get your set of original material and play with 4 bands? Yeah, it's shitty, but at the same time, it's awesome.
Yeah,
it's awesome that you're having fun. Yeah. Now, if you think that. And I think if you want to continue to have a life of music, you have to sort of have a bit of hunger. Like, I want to do this, you know, and there has to be sacrifices made. If you want to just be an original band and put stuff on Spotify, you're going to be in a band for 5 years. You know, summer '69, Jimmy quit it, Jody got married. Yeah. Shit's going to happen.
Yeah.
And it's, what are you in it for? So to say like you're going to be famous or you're going to have a #1 record, it's just.
Also the field's saturated. I think because of the internet, where you're talking comedy, where you're talking music, anything like that, it's more saturated today than it ever was. I mean, there's more access to it, but I mean, with the field, there wasn't tons of comedians. There were tons. The competition was there. It's just now the only thing. But everyone can put their stuff there in that computer right there, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I think
it's a matter of
it's a little bit more muddy to get through.
Oh, a lot more money to get through.
But what happens is that
the cream will still rise to the top.
So does the shit, but the cream rises.
So I guess we pretty much. Do you want to comment on Spotify or Apple Music, the streaming services?
I mean, it's shitty. It's shitty for us, but it's musicians are not all, but the majority will. You know, they're a funny breed. You know, we're a funny breed. We'll play for no dough.
Yeah.
You know, you don't know between the booker and the venue and the this and the that. You're just because people want to do it so badly. People who are in business who don't take it personally, who don't take music personally, will be like, well, this guy wants to, you know, come in and play. They don't give a shit that you got 20 years in.
No.
They're like, well, this kid's second year university and he's got a man bun and he does, yoga lattes and he's a hot kid and he can't play, but he's going to pack the bar with hot 20-year-olds, which is going to make more people want to come to the bar. It doesn't matter how good that guy is.
They don't care.
He does not give a fuck.
That's right.
The bar owner doesn't.
No.
But that kid will be like, I'm really good. I'm really good. But you're not.
You play like me.
But no one's telling you that. But the thing is, musicians, you're like, I got a chance.
Yeah.
I got what it takes. I'm special. I'm different. It's like, maybe. But you got to get into it for the right reasons, you know.
You got to get
into it.
Have the confidence.
Yeah, have the confidence, and I always loved it. It always took me to a different place in my head. I don't know what I would be doing if I wasn't a musician. I'd probably be.
Well, that's one of my questions.
Well, go ahead
on that.
Okay.